Welcome back, everyone, to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And yes, this is where we dive deep into most of the pressing issues of our time. But before we head on to today's topic, I would like to read out this important disclaimer. And that is by watching our videos, you understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not professional advice. Use it at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas and very welcome to all of you folks out there. I'm Napasa Pradhan, and this is Daily Immigration Dose on Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. And I'm very happy to also tell you that we do this together with Sam. So Sam, please join me, and I'm so happy to have you with us today.
Me too. It's always a pleasure having a show with you, Napasa. And also, it's wonderful to meet every day with our lovely viewers at 4 p.m. EST from Monday to Friday. So it's amazing experience and to share, our point of view. I think it's the best thing that we can ever do. We are free to share our information on the topics that we select on every day for discussion. And today also,
Yes.
we have a very, I would say, intriguing and interesting topic that why are Trump and Biden joining forces and should USA's rivals be concerned? So yeah, I think there's a so much to discuss on today's topic, and we
Yes.
will be diving deep into it. But I think before that, let's have a quick news update for immigration topics so that we can be aware that what's happening around the world. So, yeah,
Sure.
friends, I think before diving into this topic, let's have some news updates on immigration in December 2024. Firstly, Trump's comments on DACA. So, President Donald Trump, who is going to be, has recently expressed a willingness to collaborate with Democrats to protect dreamers under DACA, that is, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. At the same time, he also reiterated that his plans for mass deportations of individuals with criminal records and suggested ending birthright citizenship through executive action. Now that's a big news. Moving ahead with Biden administration extends private jail contracts. So the Biden administration has extended contracts for private detention centers despite earlier opposition. This extension lays the groundwork for future deportation policies, including the continuation of detention practices for those awaiting immigration hearings. Moving ahead with federal court blocks ACA coverage for DACA recipients. A federal court has blocked a rule allowing DACA recipients to access healthcare coverage under the Affordable Care Act, that is ACA. And this ruling has left hundreds of thousands of dreamers, without health insurance options. Moving ahead with another news update, that is USCIS updates International Entrepreneur Rule. So USCIS has updated its guidelines for the International Entrepreneur Rule, that is IER, and this makes it easier for foreign entrepreneurs to start businesses in the US. So the new rule provide clearer evidence, requirements, and alternative methods for demonstrating business validity. And next news updates will be shared by my co-host Nepasa Pradhan.
Thank you so much, Sam. And absolutely, yes, I am also going to share a few. And this first one is Trump and Biden national security team find common ground amid global crisis. And as President elect Donald Trump prepares to take over the White House in January 2025, his transition team and the outgoing Biden administration have started to coordinate closely, on national security matters. This comes amid growing global instability and conflicts in Gaza, Syria, and Ukraine. Both sides appear to be working together to ensure a smooth transition and tackle these pressing issues. Trump, who has been critical of Biden's foreign policy, now acknowledges the importance of continuing to share critical national security information as part of a smoother handover process. Well, this coordination is seen as a way to prevent further escalation in global hotspots and manage America's strategic interests effectively. And another news update I have, and that is Biden's uncertain approach as Trump and allies take center stage. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's approach to international diplomacy has come under scrutiny as he refrains from taking a prominent role at recent global events. We're leaving First Lady Jill Biden to represent the US at the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. And this follows a pattern where Biden has been notably absent from several key international forums since the election. While Trump's team remains vocal in criticizing Biden's handling of global affairs, there appears to be a tacit understanding that both administrations need to work together to address crisis and maintain stability until Trump takes office. Well, the question remains, how much common ground can they find as they navigate a complex international landscape? And of course, we are going to continue to monitor these developments and what they mean for US rivals and global security. So stay tuned, folks, as me and Sam are going to break it down further today in today's session.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Napasa, for the news updates, and those were very important. And I think now it's pretty much surprising, that now we are seeing those who were completely against with each other. They are planning to cooperate with each other. And obviously, that too because of some ongoing crisis in Gaza, Syria, and Ukraine. But still, the two teams that were completely against with each other, against having different ideologies, now they are finding a common ground to work together and for international security. So I think this is a great thing, that we can understand in today's time, and we can see that doesn't matter how much power you have, or doesn't matter what your aim is, but when it comes the country's security, I think it's all go in vain. You have to work together, you have to be together. I think unity is one and only thing that can make a nation great one. So I think with this, we can also see that. And yeah, folks, moving ahead with today's topic, that is why are Trump and Biden joining forces, and should USA's rivals be concerned? So, first of all, this topic suggests that although Trump and Biden have a very different potential ideologies, they follow Republican and other follow Democratic form of government. So there are moments, where policies also or actions also seem to align, and especially when addressing issues like U.S. economic nationalism, then military strength, and foreign relations. So there was some similar incidents. There were some similar ways, where we also saw both of them getting aligned together. So I think, yeah, this topic explores the idea that despite being from opposing political party, I think Donald Trump and Joe Biden have at times shown alignment in their policies. And in recent time, we are noticing a very unusual trend that there are some areas where their actions or statements seem aligned. And how is that possible, and what does it mean for America's role in the world? We are going to break it down today with some real life examples as well, and also examine the potential impact on US foreign policy and also its relation with rivals like China, Russia, and Iran, and that too a very important topic to discuss on. So, Napasa, before moving ahead, I would like to know from your end that we all know that Biden is Democrat and Trump is Republican. So, what do you think that which one is better to for a country? Which form of government is better, the Republican or the Democrat?
Of course, Trump's team is much better because the way they're working, it really shows that they're putting America first. They're treating America like their baby, and they would love to have everything for the baby first, and then follows the rest. And not only that, they're trying to save it from many things, major things like especially border security and all these illegal movement coming into the country. And I mean, and we don't know which part is really causing so much chaos, but at least they are, you know, trying to be more strict. The scrutiny is getting higher, and they are definitely going to make it a point to make America safer, better, and stronger in every way.
Absolutely, that's how. But Napasa, we can also see that the country that if we take example of China, so China follows a dictatorship form of government. So that's a very, I mean, when we hear about a dictatorship form of government, we have this a very negative thought in our mind, right? Like it's been very ruling, and the country deteriorate if there's a dictatorship form of government. But we can see something very opposite in China. China has been a growing and a developing country, and I think it has a very good economy. It reaches to a very good standard as compared to other countries, and that too being
What are you trying to say? Are you saying that America is going to also become like follow dictatorship?
That's not my point, but the thing is that, most of the people say that democratics or the democratic form of government, that is how the country should be. That is what the form of government, that what country needs to be. But, similarly, we can also see the other forms of government also where the countries are still growing. So
Okay.
it's like, I think it depends upon how that leader is. Most probably it depends upon the leadership, because in China also we can see there's a dictatorship, but still it's a growing country, and it's majorly a growing country, right? And in US also we can see there are Republicans versus Democrats, and now Republicans are, uh, I would say, leading. So I think that's also very important to know that, it's not always the Democrats or it's not always the democratic form of government at best. It depends. It's not a very clear answer that which one is better. It really depends on the values and priorities. Like both parties have strengths and weaknesses. If we talk about Republican government, then Republican government, focus more on personal freedom, then low taxes and economic growth. And if we look for the democratic side, then democratic form of government talks more about social equality, public services, and government actions on issues like healthcare or climate change, etc. So I think, yeah, these were some of the differences that I wanted to make clear before diving into today's topic about what are the difference between different forms of government, right? So that we can have a clear picture what is happening it. So yeah, all right, Napasa, I think I have given a brief about from my end. Please go ahead and add some more into this discussion.
I mean, yes, talking about China, China operates under one party communist regime, right? Led by the
Yes.
Chinese Community Party, or the CCP. And this centralized authority allows for rapid decision making, especially, and a unified growth and global influence contrasts with democratic ideals as well, which you were talking about. And when you talk about democratic ideals, they prioritize individual rights and even checks and balances, and if you talk about the under the Biden administration, there has been
There
so
has
sorry.
been so many things that's happening, but we can't rely exactly on the Biden's administration or even the Trump's administration. It's not like that. But it's like,
Yeah.
Napasa, now if we are looking in the current time, then we can say instead of just focusing on the democratic form of government, you should also focus, and because you can see that the Republican form of government has a very different thing. It focuses more on personal freedom, and there's less involvement of government as compared to the democratic one. So I think
Hmm.
now when time is moving ahead and when we are seeing more generations are coming, I think Republican form of government is also being very beneficial for nation to growth, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that's there also. I mean, of course, what you've said is true. And I think I would just like to, before I forget, I would like to say hi to Madhavi and Priya Patel. Thank you so much for joining us with your questions. We are going to address them. But I would also like to tell you that you can also join us, by in this conversation by dialing this number. And the phone number is there on the screen. You can dial it, 425 and they'll ask for the access code, and you dial in 988-888. And once you're in, you say hello. We will be able to hear you. Madhavi, Priya, it would be really nice if you can join us. But yes, coming back to your comments, Madhavi saying, I'm really curious what could possibly be driving Trump and Biden to join forces, given their political differences. Is this just a tactical move, or is there something bigger at play? Well, I think the main thing is for smoother transition from what I presume, Madhavi, and of course there could be a bigger play. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We can only know what the media has for us. So yeah, so far I think it's mostly for smoother transition, and they What about you, Sam? What do you think?
See, till now it's a bit difficult to give a straightaway answer that whether it's a tactical move or is there something a bigger play. But I think now we can just have a look upon at how everything is going, and even Biden and Trump, they have different approaches to almost everything. But there's also key point that when it comes to America's safety, its economy, and obviously its position in the world, then I think the political rivals also agree on few things together. So I think whether, but Nepasa, whether it's a tactical move or whether it's something else, but it's a very, I mean, I'm feeling it is a as a very positive approach, that even
Yeah,
the two different ideologies, if they're working together, so what are they working for? They're obviously working for their own nation. So whatever the motive can be, whether it's tactic move or whether they are trying to gain something, but I think being together and working together somehow is definitely going to, uh, I would say, betterment for the nation. It will lead to the betterment
yeah.
of the nation, isn't it?
Yeah, and to add to that, I think for Madhavi, of course, Donald Trump is preparing to take office in January 2025. And, both his team and Joe Biden's administration have found themselves in an unusual position, that they are working together. And I know this is, it's unexpected a collaboration. And most of us are so curious to know what's really happening, why are they working together? And that too, this unexpected collaboration comes amid escalating global tensions and the need for a smoother handover of critical national security issues. And I think despite all these differences they have between them, the Trump and the Biden teams, they have found common ground in the especially in the face of international crisis. So this alignment isn't about a change in Trump's stance towards Biden's policies at all, but it's rather a pragmatic recognition, of the need of the continuity and coordination in handling key global challenges. So that's the main thing.
Absolutely. And now also Nepalsa, as you mentioned about the news, there was some thing about the ongoing crisis in Gaza, Syria, and Ukraine. So I think, yeah,
Yeah.
that is also a reason that why, Trump and Biden, they are trying to align together and finding a common ground to work together for international
Yes.
security. But this is also a thing, if these things are happening like in Gaza, Syria, Ukraine, we can see that what a loss those countries that they have. But we can't be sure, that any country can be into that situation, any country can be in that problem. And instead of focusing on your winning part, instead of focusing on your election, I think it's better to understand what can happen in the upcoming future. And that is how, these two parties are working together, and that is what they are deciding to work on it. So yeah, I think despite their differences, the urgency of these conflicts has made collaboration very essential. And I think that's how it should be in every country. It's not only about US. In every country, it should be that all the parties, if they come together, they work together and try to collaborate with each other. And I think that will be the best thing that can ever happen to any nation's growth. And that's what are common to Madhavi. And I think we can move ahead with Priya Patel also. So Priya
Sure.
is saying that what do you think the public reaction would be if this alliance were to happen? What do you think the public reaction would be if this alliance were to happen? Would it strengthen trust in US leadership, or could it raise doubts about the political system? I think it depends upon the public, US public. I have no clue what they might be thinking, but some might be having that suspicion, and some might be trusting, or some might be having, everyone has that doubt because it's something very unusual. We never see in usually in the news, it's something very new that we are coming up with. So, yeah, that's all from my side. I think there would be a mixed reaction of public. People are still confused. Like, I'm also confused. I also don't know what to say. But Nipasa, what do you think? How the public are reacting on this alliance? Do you think they're happy, or do you think that they are sad?
they are more curious, just like us, just like Madhavi, like, what's happening, what's happening that Trump and Biden are joining forces, and what's going to happen now. And so is the world. I mean, of course, we have, as we mentioned earlier, Syria, and then we have Gaza and Ukraine. They are actually, I mean, concerned. I mean, what is going to happen next? And I think they're kind of also worried, with all this thing happening. So, Priya, I don't know if I've gotten right, but I think folks are really curious. If you have more questions, please comment, and we would be more than happy if you can actually join us on call. So, please call us. It'll be really nice to have a discussion. The phone number is 425 and access code is 988 888. Yeah.
All right. So I think now we have took the comments as well. And now I would also like to talk about the national security as well, Nipasa. So, yeah, friends, if we talk about national security, then I think both Trump and Biden are very much focused on keeping America safe from threats. So, I think this is the major thing. Doesn't matter whether you're Democrat or doesn't matter you're Republican. This is the priority thing for any country to keep their nation safe. And even though they approach things differently, but there's some overlap in how they deal with countries like Russia. For example, if we take, then Trump was criticized for having a very friendly attitude towards Russian President Putin. And however, Trump still imposed tough sanctions on Russian companies and officials. So Biden also, on the other hand, has been even more direct with Russia, and especially after they invaded Ukraine. So we all know, Napasa, that even though Trump was having a very friendly relation with Putin, but still, US was supporting Ukraine when there was a war between Russia and Ukraine. US was providing some medical aid, some financial help also to Ukraine. So it was something that Ukraine is a very small country as compared to Russia. Russia is, obviously, we all know, it's one of the largest one. But I don't know why US was trying to help Ukraine, and why US was supporting Ukraine. I think that would be much better if US would have set a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine. Because if you are funding someone, and that to a smaller party, then I think that's something on the other, that you are trying to have continuity in that war. There should be end by having the peace treaty, and I think US have that power to to make any country's hostile relation a better one. But still, US was trying to add more and more, and trying to make Ukraine more aggressive. So I don't know exactly what was the motive behind this, but this is what it happened. And in this also, Trump and Biden, they both had some kind of similar thought process in this. So yeah, and also here's a case study that the
Okay.
Nord Stream 2 pipeline. This was also case study. So this was a major gas pipeline project between Russia and Germany, and Trump strongly opposed it because he believed that he would make Europe too dependent on Russian energy. And when Biden became president, then he was also a little more flexible on it at first. But after Russia's action in Ukraine, Biden quickly imposed actions just like Trump had done. So here also, Nepasa, we can see that when it comes with Russia, and when it comes with any other country where Biden and Trump thinks that country might become a superpower or become a better one, then at that time Trump and Biden, they come together, and then they work together. So I think it's I think I don't know whether it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. But when it comes to nation, we have seen in past also, by seeing this case study, that Trump and Biden have willingly take tough actions together and try to maintain some cordial relation between each other too.
Yes, for sure. I mean, when you look at both nations, they are major powers with, of course, vastly different political systems and international ambitions as well. And, these differences really shape their interactions on a global stage. And we have been seeing time and again, how the US Russia relationship has been, of course, a tale of democracy, republican, and authoritarianism. So a lot is happening. And of course, I mean, war should end, and there should be peace prevailing among all nations in the world, and we're all looking forward for that. But coming back to the US and Russia, they share a long and complicated history, right? And they are marked by periods of cooperation and also intense rivalry as well at the same time. So yes, understanding the political dynamics within each country is really essential, to grasp the nature of this bilateral relationship, you can say. And whatever you've mentioned, of course, Sam, that is also great points to be kept in mind.
Absolutely. But here in the past, I would also like to just have a general conversation on that. What do you think that if Trump and Biden, if they are going to work together, do you think that how will it impact India? Because I think Trump has better relation with the RPM, whereas Biden doesn't have that good relation as compared to Trump. So, what do you think that how their cooperating together will impact India also? Will it be beneficial for India? Will it be neutral, or is it going
Of
to be
course, it's
harmful?
going to be beneficial. I mean, one of the biggest economy in the world, the biggest, I mean, one of the biggest power in the world, having good terms with India is going to be very beneficial for India, whether it's, I mean, for many concerns for that matter, jobs, everything. And when you look, it's like a good partnership. I think they could be changing world together. And when you look at United States and India, they also share a long history, right? Whether you talk about diplomacy or even economies and even military engagement, that's another important thing, right? So
Mhm.
from being the Cold War era rivals to emerging as strategic partners. This relationship has evolved really significantly over decades, and both nations now, they see each other as allies, and
Yeah.
they are also probably going to be working together in tackling global challenges from security to economic growth as well. So. Politically, of course, the United States and India are both democracies, but they have historically fostered a strong bond as well. Both nations value democratic governance, rule of law, and even individual freedoms. But under the Biden administration, there has been an emphasis on reinforcing ties with democratic allies like India. And
Mhm.
this is seen like, to counterbalance to China's growing influence in the region as well. So of course, as you spoke about the relationship of U.S. I mean Trump with Indian Prime Minister Modi, right? And it's been moving towards more assertive foreign policies that aligns with many strategic interests. Modi's administration, like previous Indian governments, has prioritized also national security, economic growth, and even regional stability. And the relationship with the US is seen as a way to enhance India's security and economic opportunities while also diversifying its strategic partnerships. So that is there. And when you look at it from the economic side, also economically, of course, the United States and India have deepened their ties through trade,
Yeah.
investment, and even technology transfer.
Mhm.
So the US is one of India's largest trading partners, right? With bilateral trade reaching over $150 billion annually. That's a huge number.
Yeah.
And key sectors, of course, include information technology, defense, pharmaceuticals, and even services. So this is going to be a great thing for India as well. I mean, good friendship means good relationship, and it's going to be good for both the countries.
Absolutely.
Win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win solution situation. Sorry. All right. So thank you so much, Napasa, for explaining that in detail. And I think that's pretty much clear how it's going to be, how India is going to be impacted with this new news that we are hearing now. So I would also like to talk about, and China. So, we can also see that during Trump's presidency, also, Trump started a trade war with China because he wanted to make sure that American businesses weren't being taken advantage of. So what he did, he put tariffs as in taxes on imports on Chinese goods to try and protect the US industries. So even though Biden also criticized at that time Trump's trade war during his campaign, but when he became president, he actually kept most of those tariffs in place. So, Nepasa, we can see a bit of diplomacy or diplomatic nature from Biden's side because when he was the president, okay, so uh, he directly put the tariffs on Chinese goods, and at that time, Biden criticized Trump's this new policy or new implementation. But when Biden became the president, then also he kept the same thing. In fact, he put more tariffs on Chinese goods as compared to Trump's time when he put up. So, don't you think it's a bit diplomatic kind of thing, or because when you are trying to, when you actually like that concept, when you like that policy, then why are you criticizing at that time? And at the second term, when you are becoming president, then also you are implementing the same things. So, what's your thought on that?
Well, we don't know what changed his mind, but I'm sure there could be reasons. It cannot be just out of the blue, like, yeah, I wake up today and I'm deciding that, right? I'm sure some things must have governed his decision as well. So, of course, what you said is pretty diplomatic. Maybe he doesn't want to, he just wants to be diplomatic. I think he doesn't want to hurt any side or whichever may be the reason.
Okay, but do you think that diplomacy is being little? I mean, what do you say about diplomacy? Do you think it's good, or do you think that it's harming? What do you think? Because Biden, we can say he's a bit diplomatic, and Trump, we can
Yeah,
say that he's straightforward. So, what do you think that which
straightforward.
one is better?
Being straightforward is definitely better, doesn't keep anyone guessing, their ideas, um straightforward. You know what they're going to do. They're very vocal about it. I
Mhm.
mean, they're man of their words. I think that's what we can say. What they say they will do is what they will do, right?
Yeah, I hope so that happens. And but we can't say anything with diplomatics also because in politics there are huge and different way how people think, how people have their own perception. So it's like we can't judge anything exactly, but I think what is favoring nation, I think that is the best thing to adapt. And okay, so I would also like to say that, friends, by the end of 2020, Trump also had placed tariffs on Chinese goods that was worth about $370 billion. And Biden also, instead of reversing this, he has left most of these tariffs in place as way to keep pressure on China. So we can see that that they both had different point of views with each other, but still they were kind of joining forces on this issue as well. And even in technology restrictions, both leaders have been concerned about China's growing technological influences. So Trump imposed bans on Chinese tech giants like there was some kind of Huawei citing national security risk. So Biden, while initially more diplomatic, has also continued what Trump did. He also continued to press for restrictions on Chinese tech companies and has tightened regulations to protect US technology. So, Nipasa, we can see that though they have different approaches, but still they have something on the other, a similar, I would say accidentally they come up and land up on a same thought process because their aim is same, their way is different, obviously. So
Yes.
that's how it is, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, please go ahead
Agreed,
and
totally.
share more. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we can come back to our topic of discussion today, and um, maybe talk a little further in details about what we have been discussing.
Mhm.
So do you know about like Biden's recent absence from international events? And this has become like quite concerning because why is Biden allowing Trump to take all the limelight beforehand, right? Like he's yet to come to office. There's still like about a month or more. And I think the concern is, why is he allowing Biden? Why is Biden letting Trump take the spotlight already? So that's why do you think, Sam? Why do you think maybe?
I don't know exactly why it's happening, but meanwhile, we can also say that, there's also a month away that Biden is a president, and Trump will be joining the White House in January. So why
Mhm.
is he giving that opportunity? I don't know. I think maybe Biden has become quite hopeless that now there's nothing he can do because there's almost very left. I mean, few days are left. So now I think he lost hopes, and now he's thinking that he can't do anything. He can't contribute anything in America. So that's why he's just taking a step back on this and trying Trump only to take steps and lead USA. So I think, yeah, that may be the reason, or I don't know what other reason can be, but I think so that
Yeah,
is.
yeah, it's, I think could be. We don't know what's going on in Biden's mind really, because he's not as vocal as Trump is, right? He wouldn't tell us so much like
Exactly.
Trump does. And
Yeah.
Biden's decision, of course, to remain in Washington D.C. while his wife attended Paris, like I had mentioned in the news when we started this show, it
Hmm.
really contrasts, sharply with the approach he took during previous international summits. And just after the election, Biden really embarked, on a 10-day trip to Peru and Brazil for the APEC and the G20 summits. And these were very important opportunities to showcase America's leadership and to lay out his administration's foreign policy agenda. Instead, he opted to stay home and later attend the Thanksgiving holiday in Nantucket, right? And also, and of course, Hunter Biden, absolving him of multiple federal crimes. And this action might suggest a strategy of avoiding public confrontation. What do you think? Maybe this could also be another reason. And he's trying to keep a low profile, but it's also risking, diminishing Biden's stature when you talk about it domestically or internationally as well, because people are thinking what's happening, and he's not taking any stance to, I don't
Yeah.
know, look better.
Maybe he is trying to, but now people obviously, when they didn't selected Democrats, sorry, and now I think obviously, after losing an election, someone gets little disheartened, and they keep on trying to do something on the other so that they can gain that love from their nation, from their citizens, right? So I think now Biden is having a quite hard time because it's like from the scratch, Biden's party has to start. And I think, yeah, that may be the reason. And we can't say anything right now because it's very much, everything will be so controversial. So we can just have a look, we can stay updated, and we can just keep on reading different news that's happening around US. So that's how, we can keep ourselves aware, and yeah, that's how I think it's important to keep ourselves informed. And
Yeah.
because right now, it's nothing white, nothing black, it's all grayish. So it's tough to make a perspective, right? So that's how it can be.
Right, right. And of course, while Biden was sorry of course, while Biden was absent, Trump was busy engaging with French President Macron and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky as well. During a meeting arranged by Macron, and this isn't just a casual meeting. It's been interpreted as a calculated move by Trump to maintain his influence on the global stage, even before taking office. And the images of Trump posing with these leaders definitely suggest a return to the spotlight. And I think he has a lot in plans and he's very vocal about it. I think we all know about it, right?
Absolutely. And there's also one thing, Napasa, that I would like to add on, as today we also have another topic, that is, should US rivals be concerned? So I think this is a very big question, that should countries like China, Russia, should be worried about this rare alignment between Trump and Biden. So I think yes, they should be concerned about this, because when both the parties, and that too both very strong parties in the US, when they take similar position on major global issues, then I think it sends a very strong message to America's rivals, especially China and Russia. It tells them that no matter who is in charge, whether it's Trump or whether it's Biden or someone else, the US is going to continue to defend its interest altogether. And when it's come to nation safety, I think they all end up aligning with the same agenda. So that's how it should be. And also, if we talk about like future, what does it mean for future? So we can
Yes.
expect that when it comes to big global challenges like dealing with China's growing influence or Russia's aggressive action, if in future we can see those things, then I'm still sure that US will continue to take a strong stance. And even though Trump and Biden, they have a very different political belief as we are talking about it, but still, when it comes to America's global position, to protect America's global position and security, they both will come together. And this means that US rivals, whether it's China, Russia, or even other countries in the Middle East, need to be prepared for a consistent US approach, no matter who's leading the country. So yeah, I think that's what I wanted to explain in today's topic, and I think I have touched. I think yeah, we have discussed a good amount of topic. I also added some. You also added some. So I think yeah, it's a good conclusion kind of thing that we have talked in today's session.
Of course, and very well put, Sam. Understanding these relationships with these
Yeah.
different countries is very crucial, also, especially for comprehending the broader geopolitical landscape. And the United States must continue to balance its alliances and manage its strategic priorities effectively. And of
Yeah.
course, this includes being mindful of the differing political systems, democracy, republicanism, and even dictatorship. And
Mm-hmm.
in its dealings with other nations, while also considering the impacts of these relationships on global security and economic stability. And as we move forward, of course, the US will need to navigate these complex relationships with careful diplomacy, balancing interests, and even values to maintain a secure, prosperous, and stable international environment, right? And the evolving dynamics of these global partnerships will shape the future of international relations, and also understanding these nuances is essential for stakeholders. And with all that said, as the world faces increasing geopolitical challenges, the collaboration between Trump and Biden's teams might be the only way forward. By aligning on core issues and sharing critical national security information, they aim to stabilize a volatile global situation. And it's a reminder that amidst partisan politics, there are moments when cooperation is essential, of highest priority for the greater good of the nation and the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's it from my side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have also shared my information, and you have also shared your information. So I think that's all, friends. Today we have talked about why are Trump and Biden joining forces, and should USA's rival be concerned? So the answer is yes, they should be concerned. And I think, yeah, today we have shared a great amount of information in today's topic. And it would be great, friends, if you could also have joined us in today's conversation by dialing the number or by commenting us or even by joining this link, this live link with us. It would be great. But no worries. Tomorrow also, I mean, sorry, not tomorrow, but on Monday also, we'll be coming back again with another very exciting episode on Daily Immigration Dose that is streaming live at 4 p.m. EST. So join that session and feel free to share your information, share your perspectives. We would love to have you with us here again. And yeah, that's all from our side. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Meanwhile, me and Nabasa are signing off for now, and happy weekend.
Happy weekend, everyone. Thank you for watching.